assassins, demon holds, alien technology, knights, and an entire nation that is just one enormous cult following. Welcome to the Broken Lands, part of the Where in the World series here on Cardinal Adventures. The Broken Lands are comprised of 5 nations. In the Lost Omens World Guide, it does show 6, but I consider one of those nations as more of an area of interest. The 5 established nations are Brevoy, Mendev, Numeria, Razmiran, and the River Kingdoms. I consider the Sakoris Scar more of an area of interest. The peoples one might run into are Kelid and Taldan humans and dwarves, but if you do keep your eyes peeled, you might spot an android. The common languages spoken in the Broken Lands are Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Halit, Skald, and Varisian. The main factions within the Broken Lands are the Firebrands, the Pathfinder Society, and Razmiran. For more information about the Firebrands, be sure to check out my Firebrands video. The common revered inner sea deities within the Broken Lands are Abadar, Caden Kaleen, Desna, Gorum, Aomade, and Lamashtu. Real quick, just because I want to put this to bed, it is pronounced Aomade, and that is coming straight from Eric Mona and the campaign setting book from 1st edition. The resources that the Broken Land provides are alcohol, drugs, armor, weapons, cheese, grains, fruits, vegetables, gems, jewelry, livestock, hides, mercenaries, sky metal, technology, and textiles. If you are playing a character from the Broken Lands and you aren't trained in survival, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong, but these lands almost require it to survive. Unlike most of the Inner Sea, these lands are not littered with small, quaint towns between settlements or even hamlets between settlements. You could easily travel over 500 miles without seeing another humanoid. Knowing how to travel and read the lands is half of the battle of living within them. There is far less social disparity because of the camaraderie needed to survive year after year. And even though the world wound has closed, the lands around it are still littered with demons. The nation of Brevoy. For all of you Game of Thrones fans out there, this is a nation you should definitely look into. The land was originally 2 rivaling kingdoms, the Kingdom of Rostland, known for its fertile farmlands in the south, and the Kingdom of Isia, known for its sailors and international trade to the north. It remained that way until 4499 AR, when Coral the Conqueror united the 2 lands together. Coral founded House Rogarvia, and over time made 7 great ruling families over the newfound nation of Brevoy. However, the Isians and Roslandans never really healed from their hundreds of years of rivalry, and that was before they were told to play nice under the new unification of House Rogarvia. There are only speculations as to what really happened, but 20 years ago, in a single night, all of the members of House Rogarvia disappeared. The event became known as the Vanishing, and since then, the ruling families have continued their disputes on which house should rule over Brevoy. An attempt was made to bring the Isians and Roslandans together through marrying 2 large houses from each of the old kingdoms. But we all know how that goes. House Sertova accuses House Lebeda of high treason the night before the wedding, and of course the wedding doesn't go through. In studying Pathfinder lore, I have found that if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But hey, Don't fret. If the world didn't need fixing, there'd be no need for heroes. One last thing though about Brevoy for those interested, this is where the Aldori dueling archetype originates from, which we will cover later. The Lake of Mists and Vales. This lake borders Brevoy, Numeria, Mendev, and Eobaria. It gets its name from the dense fog that steams above the surface during the winter. In these waters are the Jundland wrecks, the remains of a massive naval battle between the long-dead pirate lords of Isia. It is said that on moonless nights, malevolent fae will sound ghostly bells at midnight, and gangplanks of frost-bound human skeletons can be seen from these desolate ships, inviting anyone to come aboard. The other mystery that lies within these waters is a patch of still water north of Chesed, just beyond the shore's site. The water here is opaque and has a sweet-smelling gas that hovers above its waters. The gas causes violent hallucinations, grants people power or supernatural abilities, or causes them to become completely comatose. If that wasn't enough, the gas is caused by a massive fish. No one has lived to tell the tale of what it looks like should it pursue them. The nation of Mendev. A nation in great need of repair. Many people of Golarion fail to understand the sacrifice that many Mendevians have given so the people of Golarion could live day to day. For almost 200 years, the Mendevians fought off hordes of demons that were pouring out of an abyssal rift known as the World Wound. It took 5 crusades to close the World Wound, and that was with the help of powerful adventurers who had figured out an ancient ritual to seal off the World Wound and slay the demon lord Deskari. As much of a victory as this has also caused great economic strain upon the nation. Like any nation founded on war, their economy eventually became dependent on it. And now with the World Wound closed, the economy is currently on a sharp decline. No one is worried about a crash, but Mendev is in a unique economic position. There may be demons left over from the World Wound scattered across the Sakoris Scar, but there is no more need for full-blown crusades within the land of Mendev, and not enough funding for them either way. Quite the predicament. The nation of Numeria. For hundreds of years, this nation was comprised of Kelid tribes who kept to themselves. This all changed when what we know as a spaceship crash-landed in Numeria. This event became known as the Reign of Stars, ushering in a new age of technology within Numeria. Within a few years, a cabal of secretive arcanists known as the Technic League figured out how to convince the Black Sovereign, Kevith Cool, to inject himself with fluids that came from the crashed ships. Of course, the fluid was a mind-altering fluid, and now the Technic League could control the leader of Numeria with it. I use the term leader loosely though, because not all of the tribes of Numeria recognize him as their leader. It seemed as if the Technic League had it all under control until just a few years ago. Out of nowhere, the captain of the Technic League just died mysteriously. But do you really think he just died mysteriously if there are a bunch of secretive cabal agents and all that fun stuff? Probably not. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed while you're at it. With the head cut off of the Technic League, this led to squabbles of who should take charge. During these petty squabbles, the members assigned to keep the Black Sovereign addicted to these space fluids forgot to administer them, and then Kevith Cool came out of his decades-long addiction to the drugs to realize that he had been manipulated and tricked this entire time. Needless to say, when a barbarian finds out that they've been tricked to that level for that long, you can bet your sweet tushy that they are gonna rage. And rage he did. He quickly dispersed the Technic League, killing a lot of their members. But now, it's an all-out arms race to see which of the prior members of the Technic League can acquire the strongest alien technology and rule the country. The nation of Razmiran. Just over 50 years ago, the living god, Razmir, stood in the town of Sur, within the River Kingdoms, and claimed it as his land. Let's just say a level 20 plus wizard versus level 6 at best commoners and soldiers was an encounter that ended quickly when they retaliated. Razmir polymorphed Duke Melkot into a fox until he came to his senses. It wasn't long before Razmir had taken enough land in this fashion to claim it as his own nation. The nation of Razmiran. Not much is known about Razmir's true origins, because there are multiple accounts of his origin story, making it difficult to cite one as truth. It seems that Razmir has also been good with words most of his life, because after Tarbafon's escape from Last Wall, there was a shady deal made between the two. The deal seemed impossible to uphold on Razmir's end, but his nation still stands. If you're at all interested in that story, he is a legend of Golarion, and I can cover him in my next Legend of Golarion video. That is what the comment section is for. The River Kingdoms. This nation reminds me of the real world Holy Roman Empire that existed between 800 AD and 1806 AD in Europe. The River Kingdoms are an ever-changing series of independent states whose territory and leadership changes often as the wind blows. Okay, maybe not that often, but more often than not. It is definitely home to refugees, outcasts, and anyone looking to outrun their past and start over. Quick cardinal tip: this is a great place to ride a middle-aged or even older NPC who needed to reset their life for any number of reasons. The River Kingdoms is broken into 4 major states. First is Daggermark, the largest and stable of the 4, known for housing guilds of the greatest assassins and poisoners in Golarion. Second is Laedis. What was once a series of beautiful marble buildings is now unfortunately a crumbled, moss-covered series of ruins. Constantly changing its ownership, though, between adventurers and monsters, it is currently ruled by a Medusa named Crefania and her blind zombies. Yes, slow, blind zombies. Yikes. Third is 7 Arches, a series of sacred elven runes that are in the hands of the Oak Steward non-elven druids. Even though the elves wish to eventually reclaim these lands, the Oak Stewards are refusing entry to elves until they can figure out how to rid the land of the Obnuliate Plague, a contagious plague that claims any elf who is exposed to it even after mere seconds. Fourth and final is Timon. It is said that the gladiators and arena battles are a sensational spectacle to witness. The Sakoris Scar. I'm going to answer the question that was brought up before. No, I did not forget. Although the world wound is closed, the remaining demons still roam the lands within the Sakoris Scar. Most of them can be found within the haunted ruins of Storasta, Undaran, and Iz. You could turn each rune into an adventure, each containing a piece of an ancient artifact that... Well, you fill in the blank, you're the game master. Then we have the Reclaimers that work hand in hand with the Green Faith, #favorite faction, who are attempting to restore the wildlands of the Sakoris Scar and the mystical city of Dying Light. This could be written into an adventure with a nature versus demons motif and setting, and the adventurers are trying to help nature fight back. The Selin River. Liam, are we really going to talk about a river? Yes, we actually are. Rivers are crucial to any economy and commerce, not just in a fantasy setting, but in real life as well, even today. The Selin River is no exception. It is so crucial to the region that there are regulated harbors and riverside towns that require taxes and tolls, but guarantee anyone who stays there safety, to an extent. This river is so large that no force could ever completely control it. But that does not mean it is free of smugglers and pirates. While within the nations of the Broken Lands, it is wise to keep one's head on a swivel. We have arrived at the shotgun round, the Broken Lands backgrounds. Let's get through them. First, the Aspiring River Monarch. This is for ambitious characters that want to eventually establish and rule their own river kingdom. Interesting character goal. Next, the Isian Partisan. This is for those who really want to steep themselves in the lore and history of the Isians. Third, the Razmiran Faithful. All hail Razmir, the living god who rules upon the face of Golarion. Want to try some of this purple Kool-Aid? It wasn't a question, drink the purple Kool-Aid. Next, the Rostland Partisan, opposite to the Isian Partisan. I could only imagine two characters who don't know that they're from opposing houses or beliefs or stances. I can taste the drama from here and it is salty. Next, the Sarkorian Reclaimer. As stated before, this is for those who are trying to mend the wildlands of the Sakoris Scar, or bring the former city of Dying Light back to its former glory. Next, we have the Sarkorian Survivor. This is for a character who survived the sealing of the Whirlwind and probably witnessed it. Juicy backstory potential here. Lastly, we have the Wander Taster. Like Kavath Cool, you were once addicted to Numerian fluids, and you have been having withdrawals and seek that feeling once more of being juiced up, baby. To wrap things up, we have the archetype available to those from the Broken Lands, the Aldori Duelist. What's interesting to note about the prerequisite is that you must be trained in Aldori dueling swords, yet getting this dedication gives you access to the Aldori dueling swords, so you wouldn't have had access to them before, so how would you have become trained? Personally, if a witch, just as an example, wanted access to this archetype, if their character is from Brevoy and would have had access to those social connections, I see no reason to deny the character the archetype. Plus, a witch who knows how to actually use an Aldori dueling sword sounds pretty cool. The archetype revolves around setting up really clean parries and ripostes. As a former nationally ranked fencer, I approve of the theme and feel of this archetype. Thanks for joining me today in learning about the Broken Lands. Which nation or area spoke to you the most? Let me know in the comments section below, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take it easy. The nation of Mendev. Mendev. Okay. Take two. The nation of Numeria. Yeah, dog. Yeah, doggy! It is said that the gladiators and arena battles are a sensational spectacle.